You're listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. Visit Johnston County. And to learn more, go to johnstoncounty.nc.org and come explore JoCo for yourself.
You are listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. Thank you for downloading and subscribing. Coming to you virtually live from high atop the historic Raleigh building in beautiful downtown Raleigh. The NC F&B takes the listener behind the scenes to tell the stories of the people that contribute to the creation of the food and beverage community of North Carolina. Our featured spirit of the week, Copper Barrel Distillery, North Wilkesboro, the moonshine capital. Crafting a heritage moonshine remarkably smooth and full-flavored spirit that rivals even the most extraordinary whiskeys. Perfect to enjoy neat and in a wide range of cocktails. Check them out online at copperbarrel.com and on social at copperbarrel. And now, the misfits in the dish pit, the faces of the front. They are Max Trujillo and Matthew Weiss.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo.
And I am your co-host, Matthew Weiss.
And we're going to try something a little different. We talk about North Carolina, the food, the beverage, everything from so many different cities. And there is a great area just south of us, a stone's throw, if you could throw really far, down to Johnston County, or what we locally like to call it, JoCo. And if you've got the correct accent, it's JoCo. JoCo, which has a lot of, there's just so much growth happening down in Johnston County. I think for a long time, we knew it as like Johnston County ham, and then period, was done. And so from that point on, we've got more on. So we're going to do a nice little series for the next few months, and you'll see a couple episodes pop up about Johnston County. And today, we're going to feature somebody. Who are we featuring, Matt?
Yeah, so today we are going to kick off our focus on JoCo with the beard and the brains behind Revival 1869, a beautiful cocktail bar out there in Clayton. And to tell us about it, the owners, Mike Stojic and Maleah Christie. Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you guys want to, do we have to clarify who's the brains and who's the beard, or is that pretty obvious?
I'm obviously the brains.
Yeah, okay, that's what we were thinking.
So she's your beard.
Yes. Yeah.
Well done.
Switch that around.
Well, thank you for coming on in. My butler, Keely, and I took a little field trip last week to Clayton and went through a cool little part of the town. We saw so many things growing, like you've got Instill Distilling, you've got Broad Slab, you have Deep River Brewery out there, and then you just get right down there, and boom, there's Revival 1869, nestled right there in like the small but growing downtown area. So
Historic. Downtown
historic
area.
Historic, yeah.
Anything that's been around for like 20 years, it's historic. Sure, why not?
Something happened there.
Those millennials won't know. They're not going to check.
But I think they do care about cocktails and the history of cocktails.
Yes.
A bit.
Some do, yeah.
Yeah, so let's get in there. Let's start. What are we reviving, and what happened in 1869? What's going on?
Right. So when me and Maleah, we came up with this concept, we wanted to put this cocktail bar, whiskey bar in the middle of Clayton. We thought, well, what's got to come first? And we thought, the experience has to come first. That's the most important thing. And, the cocktails and the drinks, that there's a very close second to that. But nonetheless, I think the experience has got to come first. So we thought, well, we need a name that's going to help embody or encompass that experience. And so we used to have this big white erase board, and we're writing words that we thought would work. And Revival kept coming up to the top of that list. And we thought, yeah, it's this revival of the pre-Prohibition style craft cocktail, the revival of jazz. We do live jazz music on Saturday nights, service and hospitality, people reconnecting as people. So, in Johnston County, to have a bar without a TV is almost sacrilegious. It's like every bar there is a sports bar with TVs all over the place. And we thought, no TVs, we want people to reconnect. So the idea of revival, it encompasses all of that and bringing people back to people and with the cocktails. The 1869 is a bit easier. We wanted to connect ourselves to Clayton and show them that we're not here just, when we were trying to get our special use permit going through the town.
The special use permit is to get specific whiskeys and stuff like that?
Well, no, a special use permit for the town of Clayton in order to open a bar, a private club, because we're not a restaurant. So we had to get a special for the town of Clayton. And, there's a public part where people can just come up and say their concerns. And some old guy came up and he was like, well, if you put a bar in, because we were the first private club in Clayton, and I don't know for how long, because it used to be a dry county, 20 years ago, Johnston, something like
Historically, a dry county.
that? Yeah, right? So this guy's like, oh, man, there's going to be broken bottles in the streets and drunks and fights and all these sorts of things. And we're like, man, that's not what we're about, It's a higher level experience. So the 1869 is the sort of show that partnership with the town of Clayton, because that's the year that Clayton received its charter from state legislature, making it an official municipality within the state. And you'll see that on the Clayton seal. It says established in 1869, and it's just a cool sounding number. So Revival 1869 just works.
Yeah, I like that, how you really combine the history of it with the whole of Johnson County, which is exactly why you guys are kicking off our focus series on Johnson County.
Yeah, thank you.
So you really are the brains behind this. Just kidding.
Well, let's get into cocktails, though. So why did you think, well, for one, obviously there wasn't another cocktail bar or private club in Clayton, so that sounds like a good idea. Let's be the first ones to do that here. But are you from Clayton? Is that why that's the area you chose?
No, I'm from Raleigh. Lived around here my whole life. I went to UNC, but we've seen that as far as downtown Raleigh goes, it's growing, in all of its businesses. But there was a pretty good saturation of craft cocktail whiskey places, and we really wanted to look into kind of the suburb outskirts. And Johnson County, after doing some research, we figured out that was such a great area to do it because, like you said, it's not the JOCO of, I can't say it right. JOCO of the past that people think, and there's such a diverse crowd that's moving there now. There's a lot of transplants, and we've got just a couple of miles down the road, we've got Novo Nordisk and Grifols, and so there's not just people moving to Clayton from all over the country, but from all over the world, and they're coming wanting, that same higher class experience, but we kind of wanted to see there's these $300,000, $500,000 up communities, and people want stuff to do also, and it was like, well, why have to leave your county, your town, to go into the next big city? We should do that here, bring kind of what we know that these kind of people want, and we'll just bring it out to them. It's worked out great.
Well, especially you don't want to drive like 45 minutes or so.
Right.
I think you slap down a few cocktails and then drive back. That
right.
would be a good idea.
There's a big Uber and Lyft game going on in Clayton now, too. So
there you go. Have you guys have been open almost 3 years?
Yeah, we're
close to 2.5.
Close to 2.5.
Yeah, our third year.
About 2.5. Yeah.
Okay. And now, as business-wise, I imagine, what are some of the challenges of being in Johnson County?
At first, definitely just in opening the kind of place we were, people were like, "You're opening what?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?" And we were like, "Well, little did you realize you kind of have to be a little bit crazy to go into this, industry. I'm sure you guys know." But, a lot of people were like, "Well, I just don't think people are going to be able to step out of their Captain and Coke, or their Jack Daniels, routine."
Soda.
Yeah. I mean, even that was, people were thinking that was a big
backwards.
deal. Yeah. And that's kind of, that's about as experimental as we go. But it's something where, like Mike said, that culture of really trying to bring a new experience to the guests. And we feel like we do a pretty good job of relaying that to people, that if you'll come in, kind of shake off maybe what you're used to, give us your trust, I promise you we're probably going to make a lot of things that you've never heard of or, have never had the chance to try, but try it, and we are pretty dang certain that you're going to love it. And people come in and they're like, I've never had any of these things before. But we're like, well, let us help you figure out what spirit do you prefer, and then we can kind of go down that road. And a lot of people came in with, preconceptions about gin or egg white cocktails, or, they're kind of astounded by our huge library wall full of whiskey. And, within 20 minutes, they're like at home.
There's also an education process that happens too, I think, and that's the responsibility of some bars like, craft cocktail style bars is, it's that education thing that has to, and mutual respect too. I mean, you have to respect the guests and what they like, and then help educate them and to experience something new and fun and interesting.
And I think you mentioned it, but it was quickly. You guys have over 100 selections of whiskeys, and maybe.
Oh yeah, we're about 220.
You're over
some odd now.
220.
Yeah,
that information was dated.
Yeah. The website's a little bit outdated, but yeah, we're about 220 different whiskeys now.
Nice. What
Yeah,
about
it's really
staffing out there in Johnston?
Yeah, I was going to say that was our other huge challenge was just finding talent to work with us, and that's one of the things we really pride ourselves on now is we got a really solid staff. I couldn't be more happy with where we're at. I think at this moment in our time with Revival is like I'm happy. I got the best staff I've ever had. That's pretty remarkable, really. And one of the things we do is
are they people that are living in the area,
they
or are they
now
commuting?
No, they are now. Yeah, so everyone lives in the area, but the thing is no one's from Clayton.
Right.
And I'm not. There's nothing wrong against that, but I just think that that's just sort of how it happened. We have someone from New York. New York, upstate New York, New Jersey, and Philly are the three major players that we have with us. But the thing, too, is none of them really had craft cocktail experience. And that's been a lot of fun, too, is because you can bring someone in new, and we have a pretty extensive training program that we run through to bring people up. And that's a challenge, but it's also a lot of fun and is very rewarding, I think, for both of us. That we kind of see that happen. Yeah, and then that's exciting for them too, because this is for a lot of these guys. Well, for our staff, there's 3 others, bartenders that we have, and watching them grow and get excited about making cocktails, and when they create something and we have a feature, we feature different cocktails every weekend, and it sells really well. That's exciting,
It was interesting when we went down there last week. You two weren't there. How dare you take a day off?
That never happens too.
I know, right? You had just taught a class the night before, which is something we'll get into in a little bit. But you always do a whiskey class, I believe, on Wednesdays.
That's right.
We were there on a Thursday, but Nicole, who's your bar manager, she was making drinks and also overseeing the other newer bartenders, I guess, if you will. Making a great cocktail is not easy. After repetition of making cocktails, then you're like, yeah, dude, I can make cocktails all day long. But it takes a while to get that muscle memory and understand flavors. And so let's even talk about some of these flavors. I had a lot of cocktails, but I also, my butler was driving, so that was good.
Perfect.
And I Poppy Umami, that is a great name, by the way. Yeah. But it had that umami flavor, of course. I got the double entendre there. Yep. But that was, tequila, chartreuse, green chartreuse, but you had chili pepper tinctures, umami dust, agave. I mean, what's going on? Maleah, you're like nodding so much. I'm thinking you had a lot to do with that drink.
Well, so the way Mike and I, kind of divide and conquer is that he does a lot of the whiskey stuff, like with his whiskey forum, and kind of the cocktail program is and overseeing the bar staff. That's kind of more my forte, and so we do a seasonal menu. So we have we've got pretty much 4, and then a holiday menu as well. But we all get together, and everyone who's a bartender, even if you've kind of just made it up the ranks and it's your first kind of season bartending, even they get 1 or 2 drinks on the menu, and then Nicole and I we do kind of the bulk of it. But that's one of our other great bartenders. That's a guy from Philly. His name is Shark. Yes, pronounced like shark, but it's a nickname shortening of his, and he's self-described as Shark. But he came up with that one.
They had a song named after him.
Yep.
Baby shark. Never
mind. Don't do that.
You have to. Wait a second. When Shark comes up with a cocktail, or one of the quote unquote newbies come up with a cocktail, is there like an asterisk on the menu, just so you know? Or is this are you helping them tweak this?
Oh yeah, we do. We don't just throw these up on the menu. It's a pretty extensive process where, as we're coming toward the end of one of the menus, we get together, on one of the days that we're closed, and we call them sessions. We get together for our first sesh, and we all bring to the table, here are some of the things I've been working on, and we make all of them, and then we whiteboard it, and we're like, this one definitely, this one tweak a little bit, we're too gin heavy on this menu or bourbon heavy. We need to add in a blend, and then we come back a week or two later. We have our second sesh, and then we bring in other new ones kind of to compete, and then we end up having our final 10, sometimes 11 cocktails.
It's kind of like how my band used to make a playlist. That's like you start writing songs. You're like, that's a good one. That one's right. No, you got to rewrite that one.
Right. You're great. You're great. You're great. You suck. You're
exactly.
But I like that. That means by the time that person's ordered that cocktail on the menu, it's gone through it's past 3 sessions of heavy vetting.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's fun is, even with the new guys, the thing is we do our best to empower them as much as possible because that builds trust and confidence in their abilities as well as us in them. So that's the big thing is it doesn't matter, like Maleah was saying, it doesn't matter if we just trained you spent time, because we always bring them up as like a bar support position first. Mm-hmm. So they're bar backing and doing that, and then we kind of bring them up into the bartender role. It doesn't matter if they just passed the bartender test a week prior. They're part of this development process now. Mm-hmm. So I know that's not the same for a lot of bars. A lot of times it's just one person that's making the menu. Mm-hmm. They might have someone else, but we bring in everybody because I think we both believe there's so much value in everyone else's experiences and where they came from and flavor profiles and what they think is good, that it helps broaden our menu, and I think it just makes it really great. So that's one of the things we love.
Well, I want to tell you really quickly about something that broadens our palate and adds value to our community, and that is the Triangle Wine Company. They are awesome. They
Brilliant.
have 4
Matt just
locations.
normally talks this way and likes to talk about brands in conversation.
I
very
see,
much do,
I
yeah.
see
This
what
is
you
not-
did here.
I'm very enthusiastic about the Triangle Wine Company. No, but to be honest, they do have 4 locations, one in my neck of the woods in Holly Springs, one in Morrisville, one in Cary, and then one down in Southern Pines.
And they got more planned.
And they have more planned.
I'm not going to say anything, but they have more.
Yeah,
more
because we'll be saying it for months. But they have awesome selection of wines from all around the world. They have your mixers and cocktail mixers, so you can do your home cocktails from there and get your stuff from there. Great selection of beer, ciders, and they have a bar in there where you can just sit there and have a beer or get a great glass of wine. And then the best part is they're delivering all over. So use
Sounds like
the NCFB promo code for a nice little discount from us, and you will enjoy.
Go to trianglewineco.com. But so think about delivery. Let's kind of talk a little bit about our last episode, we talked about the SB Bill 290 that just passed, and that's affecting a lot of private clubs, bars, restaurants all around, retail, however you look at it. But delivery is an aspect of it too. Now, I know just for the basic plight of any bar that or every private club that we say private club, of course, but that's out here in the state. If you do not sell if you do not sell food, or if your food is a smaller percentage, specific number of which I don't know, maybe one of the brains here, it's like less than 25% or something like that.
Yeah.
But basically, if you're primarily an alcohol-based business, then you are no longer open to the public. You have to be open privately. You have to have a membership to then come in, which means you have to have a card, and you pay a licensing fee for the year.
It really is, yeah.
All this stuff needs to be repealed as well. But we're working on it, right? We as a society are working on it, and the SB 290 bill had broken a few of those really old, outdated laws, and one was that you could now have your liquor delivered the way beer and wine is delivered, or lettuce or tomatoes for that matter, is delivered. So it's not fully functioning now, but is that something that you'll take advantage of?
Honestly, probably not.
Yeah, because you have to pay for that, right? You have to pay.
I'm going to assume you're going to have to pay for that. I don't know if it's the ABC that's actually delivering, but I'm imagining there's going to be some sort of premium. But I'll be honest, even without the premium, even if it was a free service, I make all of probably 99% of our orders pick up from the ABC, and I genuinely like the guys at the ABC. So half of the reason I go in there is to kind of shoot the shit with them, and then sometimes new products on the shelf, and I'm like, oh, throw one of those on, I'll take that too. And they're like, hey, Mike, do you want this? And I'm like, of course I want that, put it on. And I'll, that's part of the fun for me.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait, the place where you go, you're actually in a liquor store?
Oh, the ABC, yeah.
No, because out here in Raleigh, it's
you guys have the warehouse?
It's the warehouse, so you're in a lobby. And
so that probably sucks for Wake County, but for me, no. I go to the legitimate liquor. Well, that's how we do it in Joco. We go to the
Well, I was going to say that's an advantage to being a business in Johnson County because you're also not having the huge amount of competition of every other bar and restaurant that's fighting for those products.
Pretty much the only show in town when it comes to looking for some of these specialty products, especially whiskeys, because of what we're trying to do with our whiskey program. So there's pros and cons to it, but one of the things I genuinely enjoy going to I go to 2 different stores. There's a store on 70, which is our primary, which is where I get my pickups.
Don't give too much of your information away, because then you're going to see all people from going from Wake County to your Johnson County stores.
Well, they can't.
No, not the restaurants, but individuals.
Oh, no, I kind of hope that, honestly, it would be good for us if they did.
Okay.
Because the trouble is like convincing the county to buy more and more higher end whiskey. Because there's another challenge. When we first rolled in, everyone, like Maleah was saying, is Crown, Jim Beam, and Jack Daniel's drinkers. So for us to get these really cool higher end whiskeys in was a process. To go from, we started with maybe 70 different whiskeys up to 220, getting up to 250 now. It was a lot because the county didn't trust it, because the county has got to buy the booze first from whoever, bring it in, and then they got to try to resell. Well, they didn't believe that it was possible to do that in Johnson County. So no, the more people in there buying stuff is better for us, because then they'll bring in more and more higher end specialty bourbons.
But that law changed now too, so now you can special order individial bottles and you don't have to buy cases now.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic.
Did you know that?
I do now.
I'm telling you now.
Because I was buying cases, and that sucks.
Yeah, so that is something that's really going to affect our ability to expand selection. Yeah. So with that green chartreuse you had on your cocktail menu, chartreuse isn't cheap. And now it's stocked, but let's just say if it was something that was obscure like that, you would have to buy a case of chartreuse, and no one's going to dip 12 bottle inventory into something that you're just putting like a quarter of an ounce into a cocktail. That would take forever to get to that part. So now that goes away.
I have one more shameless plug warning, so put the alert up here. But that reminds me of something we were talking about earlier. We discussed this last week on our show about that. We went through some of the bullet points of Senate Bill 290 and House Bill 971. And if you're listening to this show and you find out information, you should share it with a guy like Mike and be like, "Hey, Mike, I know you're on vacation. Listen." So that helps us. And we need to be sharing posts and sharing information. Use us as an information source. And I think you'll create great community and information
on our Instagram, on our stories or so. But let's show this community, because I know a lot of people were listening to that. A lot of people learned a lot from that particular episode, like we did. I mean, and also just in researching what the actual bill was, we're like, oh my God, you can drink at bingo halls now? So
that was the most impactful.
That was.
You can do beer tastings. No, but you can do beer tastings at farmers markets now. So there's so much freedom that usually you're just like, oh, you can't do that. Well, now you can do a lot of things, which is cool. So it was great. But if you're listening right now and you for one, just retweet, hey, I'm going to a revival tonight, and tag the NC F&B, and we'll throw it back up on social, because I think people need to realize how big this community is of interest of people that love food and drink and go out and have a good time. And with it begets more, right? That's how the city of Clayton is growing and all that, or just the whole state of North Carolina. So good plug, Matt.
Thanks, Max. So what about you guys? What's on your CV? How did you get to own this business, and somebody gave you money to back you and said, yeah, we believe in these guys to make a cocktail bar in Joco?
Well, nobody gave us money to back it. We tried to do as much as we could, sans loans or anything like that. I know Mike can tell you his history, but I was in marketing, advertising for a long time, and I just realized I didn't like selling people crap they don't really need or want. But besides, my industry experience, I'm an artist, and I do a lot of kind of large scale painting, and I do a lot of female figure. So naked painting.
Well, that's a reason to follow you on Instagram right now.
I mean, I don't paint naked. I paint naked women.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes.
Wait, do you paint on naked women?
No, I paint
on a canvas.
I do paintings on a canvas of naked women.
Okay.
I'll invite you guys.
You, or you?
No, people. I don't have people pose. Some people, want to. Some people want to commission me paint.
Well, no, like photography is like Felicia, before she was, she famously did boudoir photos.
Yes, famously. Yes.
Famously.
Yeah.
Oh,
There were a
Ellie.
lot of ladies that would call Felicia when we were in Los Angeles, definitely more in LA than it is out here, but they'd call and be like, hey, I need to take pictures of this body right now because I'm 28 and looking great, and it's not gonna be like that forever. So can you take nudie pictures of me in a tasteful way?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just paint. I paint paintings of nude women, but mostly, just because who hasn't seen a naked show of hands? Who's never seen a naked woman?
I'm still confused though. Like, so,
so
are you
confusing.
taking women?
Only 45 minutes more about
pictures-
naked
I know.
women.
pictures of women who are clothed, and then you say, "Oh, what would they look like naked?" Or like they're
She's just taking art. She's
Yeah,
just painting
just
naked women.
like creating.
Why is
them.
this
close
so
your
hard?
eyes right now and imagine
That's
a
not hard.
great figure of a naked woman.
Okay.
I do that and then I paint it.
Okay. Awesome.
There's also this thing
Like
called
that.
I didn't know
When
if
you
it was
took
from her imagination or it was from another picture. Is basically what I was clarifying.
It's a combination of two.
Yeah, she's like, I could just look at myself, but Matt, like, remember this weekend when you took all your clothes off and painted your body green to
Yes,
look like the
I do
Incredible Hulk
remember that,
for your
yes.
son's 3rd birthday, which was adorable. It's like that, except with a woman's
Without
body.
and
Yeah.
without the green.
And, you could
Maybe
go green.
green.
Sure, why not?
Make it weird.
Bob
Why not?
Ross, little happy clouds. And
One thing I
flowers.
do get asked a lot is, so do you paint naked men too? And I'm like, I don't get me wrong, love naked men, but ew, no. There's just something you can have a nude woman hanging in your dining room at Thanksgiving, and grandma doesn't freak out. But if you've got bleep and bleep.
The feminine
on the
form
wall.
is just
It's just,
lends
no.
itself to art better.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does that how does that set you up for creating cocktails?
It's just
It doesn't. We were just
not
talking
at all.
about naked women.
Not
It
at all.
literally
Not at all. Naked women inspire us to do all kinds of things.
Because in the wine business, we often use like, oh, this is like a curvaceous woman or something like that,
Yeah.
to describe a wine. Sometimes.
Well, when you're describing whiskey, it's got,
wait,
it's got
what?
body, it's got legs.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Actually, a real wine term is slutty. That is, it really
love it.
is.
Really?
It's like a
Slutty.
really aggressive, like over fruity, kind of like unctuous. Like it's like really expressive, like overly expressive wine.
I like
Maybe
it.
like a big California Zin or so. Like this is a real
yeah,
slutty.
and not
Slutty
not that
wine.
much backbone or structure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like real easy going, real easy. One cocktail in.
I think in whiskey tasting, you get
amazing.
it's got
did not know that.
full body. It has long legs. It's got a soft mouth feel.
This is definitely going to go on the explicit content.
Gosh.
This is going to be our highest rated episode ever.
My hands are starting to sweat.
Bring that bass line back.
Yeah.
The intro tune.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so,
so
you're an
that
artist. You've
creativity-
seen naked women. You've painted them.
Right.
We're done with that.
But creativity. I'm a big foodie. Also, love wine. I love whiskey. I love cocktails. And it was for both of us. We actually met on a podcast. And
You
we
met on a podcast.
on a podcast. Yeah. Yeah.
Which podcast?
Well, it's a friend of ours who used to live down the street. His name's Kevin Sullivan. He created the Wait What If podcast. It's more of like a barstool philosophy thing, and
cool.
you just go on there and just kind of.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Yeah, about like if you were teleported, what happens to your soul? Weird.
Schrodinger's cat and stuff like that.
You get weird with
What
it.
would
and
be
it's
the
fun.
one whiskey bottle if you were on a
Yeah.
deserted island that you would take?
Yeah, stuff like that was silly.
You
He's
used to ask
since
that question.
stopped making that podcast, and he's got another one that's actually really, really, really awesome. It's called 21 Gun, and it helps answer the questions on veteran suicide and veteran. It's a very veteran focused podcast. He was just picked up by. Anyways, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
pretty
yourself
neat.
are a veteran, right?
Yeah, so I'm working with him on another project that's a group that it's going to be coupled with that. And his podcast is part of Irreverent Warriors and Vet TV. So it's
Wow.
have you heard it? You know that, right, Butler? Do you know about Vet TV? You're in the Army. Okay, I don't know, but he's got just picked up by something. So it's pretty neat. But that's how we met, Then we started talking, and then I'm not from Clayton. I'm not even from North Carolina. I grew up in Florida. Oh, you too? Butler just too?
Butler's from
Hooray.
Florida.
I feel like we should call her the attaché or something.
Well, I did have a question, neither here nor there, but when she's driving Max around, is she still the butler, or does then she become the chauffeur?
Yeah, she is a chauffeur, and or the driver. Really, just the driver.
Just the driver. Okay.
Open the door for him. Well, it is 2019, so everyone can open doors now.
But all right, you Floridian. So
so I grew up there.
You're a halfback.
I don't know what that means.
That's what they call so New Yorkers. I guess it's technically northeasterners who went to Florida and then they come halfway back. They don't quite go all the way back up to the northeast. Which I guess is kind of
true. I mean, I was born in Michigan, ended up in Florida, grew up there, went to college, bartended through college.
Yeah, he's a halfback.
I'm a halfback, I guess. Took a commission in the Marine Corps, became a lieutenant, did that for about almost 9 years, got out as a captain for some medical injuries, medical separation. So two deployments, Iraq and Afghanistan, both for a year. So it's 2 full years deployed. And then met Maleah on a podcast.
Can I ask a real quick question there? And this might be for veterans out there. Do you still get whiskey rations in the Marines or the Army?
Man, they haven't done that since the Revolutionary War.
Seriously? Oh, come on.
Look, I will say this, though.
Yeah.
I had booze mailed to me both in Iraq and Afghanistan. So
what booze?
Whiskey. Jameson was usually the primary whiskey I had mailed out to me.
And now, did you have to sneak that, or is that?
Of course I did. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God, I would be court-martialed and tossed out, especially as an officer. Getting drunk in Iraq.
Yeah.
But you do get.
I'm out now, so I can talk about it. So you can get a Listerine bottle, empty the Listerine out, rinse it, fill it with booze, put the tape on, and it looks like, especially the brown Listerine, not the blue stuff. Or you get juice bottles.
That guy's got fresh breath.
My buddy had his dad get those big cheesy poof jars, the big plastic 4, 5, 10 gallon things of cheesy poofs. Yeah, I want cheesy poofs. And then empty half of it out, put a bottle of whiskey in it, fill it back up with cheesy poofs, and stick it in the mail. Mm-hmm. They don't really check what's going into country, into Iraq or wherever you are, but they do check what's coming out. So we got a lot of stuff moved in.
I also heard from somebody that recently told me that a lot of pornography makes it smuggled into the to the military as well.
Well, porn is the easiest thing to smuggle anywhere anymore. I mean, it's free on the internet.
Maybe some of
Maleah. She's sweating now. She's a little nervous.
Matt, we're talking about naked women again.
I'm just so confused.
You guys did it.
By the way, I put in front of you, this is
Speaking
not
of creamy
a plug.
mouthfeel.
Yeah, this is not a plug. This is actually just fun and anticipating an episode that's going to come up in a couple weeks. You're eating proof ice cream right now, which I thought was apropos because we're talking liquor. This is ice cream that has liquor in it.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
And it's so damn good. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Part of the perks of being a internationally known food and beverage podcaster is that we get little fun things dropped off to the office time to time.
Jen just came right before you showed up with a bunch of samples from Proof Ice Cream. We're like, oh yeah.
I think we've tried some of their stuff before.
Something like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty delicious. You'll hear more about it in a couple weeks, so stay tuned. Yeah. It's fun. It's coming out of Columbia, South Carolina, so we crossed the border.
There's something bourbon-esque in
That's probably the bourbon caramel one.
Yeah.
Can I have this?
Mike, so just we got sidelined away from your story, but very interesting nonetheless. So how did you get out of the Marine Corps and then become
I was
a bar owner, a cocktailer?
Yeah, I ended up getting a medical separation for some injuries that I have.
Okay.
And my last almost 9 to 10 months with going through that process. So I had about 9 months to really plan and put things together. So we're building business plans and coming up with the concept, and then Maleah and I met, and we started working together on it, and I asked, hey, you want to do this crazy thing with me? And she said she did. And,
so you guys didn't know each other at all, and then you're all of a sudden jump into business together?
Well, yeah.
We lived in sort of the same community in Clayton when each of us had relocated out to Clayton. And it's you know your neighbors, but you don't know your neighbors. It's like, hi, how are you? Your kid's too loud. Please take your recycle bin off the grass. But then, we really got to know each other and being guests on this podcast. We did a series of those, and we would find that we were kind of talking this same lingo, and on potty breaks or afterwards, we'd end up standing there for hours and talking about this vision that we had, and started whiteboarding, and then we were just like, hell yeah, let's do it.
You're big on that whiteboard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's
the
used to
way
use it
you
all
get
the time.
things done.
I know Mike Delgado of MRC is a big fan of the whiteboard. I've seen him create with that.
Mike Rosado, but yeah.
Did I say Delgado?
He's not that skinny.
Delgado does sound cool, though.
Why did I say
Delgado just means skinny, right?
Yes.
I don't even know. But so that was it. And then, coming down to
Flaco, Gordo is fat.
Yeah.
Delgado means slight.
Max Trujillo, I feel like, would know.
Nah.
Everyone's like, nah. So, that was it. We worked together on it, and then it was all a matter of finding the place. And Clayton, it sounds weird, but it was like an obvious choice. So, I mean, for us, because we were looking into Raleigh, and we thought, like Maleah said earlier, it was like, well, it's a bit saturated. Plus, you need a lot of money to compete with Raleigh. We didn't have that. And I didn't want to use banks. I didn't want to use other backers. I was like, if we're going to do this, it just needs to be the two of us. And I had couple years of deployment money saved up, so I was like, well, this is our seed, right? So that was kind of the way that went. And then it was like, well, let's look for small towns around Raleigh that are growing, and there's a few of those. And then it was like, all right, let's try to find one that's not so obvious, but we know in the next 5 years is going to be huge. And then, Clayton kept popping up. Wake Forest was another one that was popping up on that list, things that are going to grow. Clayton just made the most sense. And at the time, I'll be honest, for all the research we did, we left out the county ABC issue. I didn't think there was going to be a huge difference between Johnson and Wake until we got into it. But Clayton made sense. It was, like Maleah said, Novo Nordisk, Grifols, the Caterpillar plant. There's these huge communities that are popping up. 540 at some point is going to extend all the way around, and that's going to make it more convenient for people to live there.
Totally.
And it's just like, this is it. And there's also this calling, like, people are coming back to these small towns and they're loving these downtown historic areas. It's just a super cool thing. So it's like, well, Clayton has a few neat spots, and if we put ours right there, then maybe we can help be on the way ahead of the wave, and we can help be a cornerstone or something that helps facilitate that sort of growth. It was a huge risk. And it's actually worked out really well for us. Yeah. And we're in a building that's over 100 years old. So part of our style and what made us Revival was the fact that we found this building that's over 100 years old, and we played to it. So we kind of let the building tell us, here's what we wanted to, here's what you need to be, right? Don't force the design, but use the natural bricks, the exposed beams, and kind of fit that. But that was more Maleah than me. I don't know anything about that.
Isn't it wasn't it a funeral home or something like that?
Yeah, one time.
Indeed it was.
There are ghost stories.
That brings a whole
videos
other
of
meaning.
ghosts.
No, we got to talk about the ghosts, because I even
wow.
talked to your bartenders about it, and they're like, oh, yeah. But actually, one bartender gave a quaint answer. She said, no, I kind of like it because when I'm here by myself, just prepping all alone, I don't feel alone. I feel like
that sounds like Gabby.
That's got to be Gabby.
That was Gabby.
Yeah, it's got to be Gabby.
Because Nicole is scared as shit. She won't go. Nicole, who's our head?
Not.
She's like, nope, not going in there. I hear voices, and she runs out.
Yeah.
But do you have a name for the ghost? Do you know where the ghost came from?
We know that because that podcast, they wanted to host an episode at Revival, and they wanted it to be kind of a Stranger Things kind of feeling, and so they had two psychics. They had a kind of a debunker, Ghostbuster kind of guy who came around with his...
Oh, a person that shits on your point? You could just have Matt Weiss.
Yeah. He comes in and he's like, no, it's probably an air draft, it's electrical, whatever. So,
it's called air conditioning, people.
They walked through and they had their Geiger counters or whatever it is, and they ended up saying that they felt like there was a ghost of a little girl, and that's why some of the kind of more playful, jovial little prank things get left for us. And then another was maybe
Wait, what gets left for you?
Oh man,
well, things will get
get.
It's not like things appear, but things happen. Like bottles are flipped around, things are moved. Things are not where you left them.
Come in the morning. We're the last ones to leave, so we've come in the morning, and this actually kind of is a pain in the ass. But all of our bottles on the shelf are turned around backwards. We've come in and we don't really deal in change. We include the tax so that it's like $10, $12.
Yeah, flat dollars.
But we've come in, we still have some change just in case. We've come in and all of the pennies, quarters, nickels, dimes are all stacked up neatly.
Really? See, I love all this stuff. I just watched that Netflix show, the Bob Lazar Area 51 and Flying Saucers.
Yeah, I just did too.
With headphones on, with a couple drinks in me while I was watching it, and oh my god, it will blow your mind, Matt. You're gonna have to watch it.
Which one is that?
Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's new. Check it out. But it's all about the existence of aliens and like the guy that Bob Lazar is or supposedly worked for Area 51, but there's no record of him. And he's like, Yeah, because they got rid of my entire existence, like Men in Black. But I'm telling you all so that I don't end up in a body bag tomorrow. This is my insurance. I'm coming to the public to tell everybody. It's nuts.
They're
man.
having
is that
a
what-
secret conversation out in the middle of the woods that isn't even recorded. Very next day, he's raided by the FBI.
Isn't it? Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that what got the whole "Let's Raid Area 51" started? You guys on
No,
Reddit
that
and
was,
Facebook?
that was actually a guy on iFunny.
Oh, really? Because like the whole
Really?
He started that whole
everyone wants to raid Area 51.
Yeah. Where did I hear it?
I
You're
thought
going to
maybe it
get
was
shot,
that.
by the way. It's a military base. Like,
Yeah.
let's not. Yeah. Yeah. Don't raid military places unless maybe you're packing. No, don't do that. Don't
Don't
just
raid
don't
military.
do
raid
it.
military bases. That's a silly
To
thing
lose,
to do.
you're going to lose hard.
Well,
so I
but
showed-
the two of you though. You guys opened this place. You met on a podcast. You're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like Sam and Diane Cheers thing going on here. Look at how much they're laughing, everybody.
No, our staff calls us mom and dad, though, and it feels like work wife, work husband kind of thing. But I think the reason we have such a good kind of yin and yang, we have strengths where the other has weaknesses, whatever. But I think the reason that we work so well together and continue to walk this earth and breathe air is because it's like, and thank you, sir. Today was a great day. I bid you adieu. I'll see your ass tomorrow. And then we can do it all over another day. So I think it works. It works well that way.
It plays to the friends and the Cheers thing. The will they, won't they? So guests just keep walking in. Will they, won't
Oh, there's
they?
a lot of talk.
Oh, I bet there.
my God.
There was a lot of
Always.
talk when we were there.
Oh,
on
really?
Thursday.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
It was
always.
mainly me creating that talk.
And now
Of
once
course.
people hear that podcast, there'll be a lot of talk. Well, are they?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
then they
know.
shut it down.
You know, and
Welcome to the kitchen where we stir the pot.
Exactly.
nice, you are in marketing. And we got to give a shout out to Stephen Such, a great friend of our show,
Yeah.
but also was your
Steven.
doorman for a bit, right?
Yeah, where we hired him as a server, and he was serving and door manning at the same time. more
Yeah.
or less, but then really did more door manning because
That takes a lot of
we
work
were
to be a
somehow-
doorman and serving at the
Yeah,
same
it
time.
does. He
Let
was
me
very
allow you to your seat.
talented.
Now here's your food. And right back to the door.
Yeah.
Where's our burger? It's at the door. That's
He's a great guy, man. I mean, he's still a really good friend of ours too. I mean, he's
Yeah,
just
he
really
met
fantastic.
he met us there that night.
Yeah.
I texted him and said, "Hey, dude, we're at Revival." He's like, "You're there now?" I go, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll be there in 15 minutes."
Yeah.
And he was. He mowed his lawn and then he came in and we had cocktails.
He's a great guy.
Really good guy. If you dine anywhere, you've seen Stephen Such because I think he just lives at restaurants.
I
Yeah,
think he does.
is
He's
a
huge
foodie
into
for
it.
sure. And one of the things I'll always remember about him was when he first came and started working with us, he was like, man, all I ever knew that you could just, get just stupid about was comics. And now he is just all in with whiskey, and his knowledge has just expanded immensely, and he's stayed really close with us, and that's something we're super proud of, is the family dynamic bond that we have with our staff. And we don't just
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
evident.
just like come in and make our dream work for us and get your paycheck and then get out. We spend a lot of time together. In fact, when we leave here, we're going to one of the USBG events. It's at Blind Barber, Joey Barber. What up?
Oh, yeah.
It's there.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Mark
Bernie
Cisco.
Lovers is here, a former
Yeah.
guest of the
Yeah, we're
NC
gonna
Yeah,
F&amp podcast.
absolutely.
Episode
We go to
12
things
or
like
11? That's
we
way
go to
back.
things like that. We go on Revival family trips. We rent a big car or big van SUV. We call it the Revival Struggle Bus, and we
The Revival
take
Struggle Bus.
the staff on trips. We've gone to West Virginia to Smooth Ambler. We've gone to DC. We're planning a trip to Charlotte. We've gone kind of all over, and we go on these. It's like continuing education, R&D. Let's just screw around as a big, wild family together. But that's something that I think builds that bond for us. And our staff, our team, they always come first. That's first and foremost.
What's
That's cool.
Before we get out of here, we got a couple more minutes
Yeah.
before the show is over. What's going on in the cocktailer's mind right now? What's hot right now? What are you trying to do? What's something that you're really proud of in a mixing sense? What are you doing?
We are something that we're really proud of is that not having such close competition, to us. It's kind of like, well, everyone's doing this, so we should do this. we're really like just completely off the grid. I mean, we're doing things with, bubble tea, and I mean, we've got a banana curry right now drink, and we're not so married to tiki or gin or Campari, like a lot of places. It's we'll do all that
I'm more
stuff
of an Aperol
and
man
more.
over Campari.
Campari's just too better.
I'm a Chinar person myself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's out at the local ABC store right now.
But the thing
So is green
with what's hot,
chartreuse.
the trouble is with, and this is why I don't like things that are like, well, this is what's hot right now. Is it tends to be kind of a novelty sometimes, and that's, that's what Maleah was saying. We're kind of outside because of our location. Everyone wants like, well, this is what's hot right now, and we did play around with that when CBD first came out. People wanted to put it in cocktails, and we thought, well, let's do a CBD drink, and we did. And now it's people kind of forget about it, and that's the thing. Like the cocktail industry is a lot of fun, but it's like every other month there's something that's hot again, and it kind of changes very quickly. So we don't. It's not. We do read and we do keep up with stuff and, Instagram and these different things. But at the same time, it's like, well, let's try to do something different because that's hot now. At one time that wasn't hot. So maybe we can help shape the industry by doing our own thing.
Yeah. It's like if you look at pictures of naked women, you're just going to draw them as opposed to creating them in your own mind.
I just say follow your heart, and the stranger the better. That's what should be in your mind when creating cocktails.
I do have a question, though, back to the cocktails for a second. Are there any specific Johnson County produce or herbs that you're using in cocktails? Like to get hyper-local?
Not
Well, we've done
specifically.
broad slab. We've made some cocktails
Okay.
with broad slabs. Actually, I think we're going to have another one with broad slab on it. And then
Sometimes, some of the local produce,
we gotta hurry.
like that,
Music's on.
local produce, local honey, stuff like that. We'll use.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any whiskeys that you're completely nerding out that you guys have that people have to try when you're there?
Right now, I'd throw out the Weller Antique 107. That's my favorite on the
the
wall.
Whistle Pig 15 year, I don't think a lot of people have that. And that's pretty freaking awesome. And
Weller.
that's an expensive bottle for the Whistle Pig 15. It's about
Okay.
$250 a bottle. Our prices tend to be a little bit less than Raleigh, too, just because of where we're located. We can afford to do different things.
Nice.
Yeah.
But the Whistle Pig 15 is pretty. Anything by Whistle Pig, like I like the 10 and the 12, and those by themselves are amazing. But I did a flight with that whiskey forum that I do on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Of the 10, 12, and 15, and it was like the 15 crushed the 10 and 12. I mean, it was unbelievable how much better it was. And I like
Wow.
the 10 and the 12. I think are fantastic by themselves.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have one last comment before we get out of here. Max, I know you got something to say. When you see Bernie today, you can let him know because he chided us that you got me in a basement when he was on, because back in those days we were in Max's basement. But now we are big boys at the kitchen studio. So please let him know that those guys way back when now have a big boy
They
studio.
got sound dampening
Yous
things
all
on their wall. They
grossed up
got,
now.
Yeah, we're all grossed up.
they have this
And
thing, whatever that is.
when you all are walking out of the studio, we're going to hand you this delicious, beautiful cake from Bestow Baked Goods, good friends of ours.
Oh, my
That
God.
baked a delicious thing that you can put on your struggle bus on the way back to Clayton.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you
yeah.
can eat, drink safely, merrily, all these things responsibly, all that stuff. And but I guess that's it. Let's go to Johnston
excited.
County. Right?
Yeah, guys, this episode has gone all over the place and it's wildly interesting, much like Revival 1869. So get out
is
there to
it,
Johnson
yeah.
County, go to Clayton. You will eat and drink very merrily.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. By rating us online, you're helping others to discover our show. The magic of SEO puts the worm in our tequila. Follow us on all platforms at NCFB Pod.